Hi, my name is Tom Lauterback, and I am a former Air Force officer. I served in the Strategic Air Command for about 4 years, from 67 to 71. I was commissioned as a second lieutenant in 1967 and left as a captain in 1971. If you're looking for war stories, I'm afraid you'll have to look somewhere else. No war stories here. But I am technically a veteran of two wars. Now, which two do you think they are? Well, we'll come back to that. Let's see. I was an administration officer for 2 years and an information officer for 2 years. What does that mean? That means for 2 years, I rewrote the Strategic Air Command publications, edited them for clarity and readability. And the last 2 years, before I returned to civilian life, I was a PR guy for the Air Force. I was the base information officer at a Strategic Air Command, or SAC, base. What was SAC? It doesn't exist anymore. There is a command that has replaced it. But SAC was unique when I was in because we flew nuclear deterrent. Now, what does that mean? That means that we were ready to go to war 24/7, and we had a airborne command post in the air at all times, ready to prosecute a war if Washington, D.C. was knocked out. And I don't believe such a plan exists anymore, but I'm not up to date on what the command is that has replaced Strategic Air Command. I got to see all the elegant sights. I got to see Nebraska, Indiana, and Texas. And glad to see all three, but it was a singular honor to be selected for the Strategic Air Command, because it really was, as I said earlier, a unique force at the time. Now, what wars was I in? Not the Revolutionary War. No. I'm technically a veteran of both the Vietnam War. I get the National Defense Service Medal for that. And the Cold War, which was less well-defined, but we were at the tips of missiles and bombs with the Soviet Union, now called Russia. And we were ready to go to war, as I said, 24/7. So I am honored to be a member of, or I should say, a veteran of two different wars. Let's see. I went in as a volunteer. I was never subject to the draft. I volunteered straight out of graduate school at the University of Illinois. I was getting my master's degree, and joined the Air Force, and was fortunate enough to do many of the things that I would be doing later in civilian life to build my career. I was writing, editing, doing public relations work, and the sorts of things I would be doing later on in my career. Many good memories. Unfortunately, the two that stand out are not good memories. I unfortunately had to handle two different plane crashes, and we were the FB 111 training wing at the time, and we lost two pilots that I knew, and it was a very sad affair. But as an information officer, I had to handle the press relations, and when a plane goes down, obviously you have a lot of press. Let's see. There are some funny stories, though. I used to fly what's called top secret courier, and we would two of us would courier the some top secret material to the various numbered air forces. We would go west to the 15th Air Force, south to the 8th Air Force, and east to the 2nd Air Force, all out of the Omaha area. And I went to Riverside, California, which is the 15th Air Force, dropped off the material that we brought in, and we didn't have to bring anything back. So we were pretty much off the hook for the day. We went to Disneyland and kept checking the flight plan for the aircraft to go back, and there was no flight plan filed. So we enjoyed Disneyland and finally decided this is really running late, so we better get back to the plane. And we drove back, and the plane had been held up for almost 2 hours. So everyone in the aircraft was hopping mad. I was the junior courier, so I was pretty much relieved from criticism. But the senior courier definitely got an earful, and I wouldn't be surprised if it cost him his career. But it was a standoff. There was no flight plan filed, so he was doing what he was told, what he was trained to do. And I sat down next to a colonel. And here I am, a young lieutenant, and the colonel was angry, but he assumed that the senior courier made all the decisions and that I was just along for the ride. Pretty much true. I sat down next to him, and when lunch was served, it was not another happy occasion for him. He got served a bologna sandwich, maybe a piece of cheese, and an apple in a box. I got served a steak, baked potato, and all the trimmings on a plate because I was courier. So that was one of the humorous stories. Why did I join the Air Force? Why did I join the military at all? I never saw myself as being in the military, but there was what's called the draft at the time, and I would have been drafted and no doubt sent to Vietnam had I not enlisted in officer training school, which I did, and as I say, commissioned as a second lieutenant in 1967. And I did it because I think everyone should be ready, willing, and able to serve a couple of years for his or her country. And notice I said hers also. The draft was always a male-only thing. My feeling was that we're in a state of equality now, and the females should be right next to the males, serving either in the military, in a hospital, in some government agency, at basically a low salary, lower than what they would be expecting ultimately. But if you can't do something for your country, give maybe 2 years, whatever is decided. I think you should fail to call yourself a proud citizen, because I am certainly proud of this country, its flag, its national anthems, its traditions, and I was willing and certainly able to help defend it in a very small way. As I say, I was not out in combat. You'll hear other people who were, but I was not. And I gave my 4 years at considerably less of a salary than I would have expected in civilian life. But I did my 4 years, and I'm happy that I did. What did it teach me? Taught me the value of discipline, taught me the value of getting along with people who were different races, religions, nationalities, you name it, and they were there. I even had foreign officers that I studied with. So I got the value of working with people, and it's certainly held me in good stead to this day. And I thank you very much for listening. Glad to share the story with you.